Hi, welcome to the Inner Labyrinth. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we're going to be talking about the dark night of the soul. It's something that I feel like a lot of spiritually aware people go through. It's a point where you stop, it's an identity falling away. It's like your ego is dying, and you're in this in between stage where you're becoming who you're meant to be, who your next stage is going to be. And I feel like I had this experience for a prolonged time, maybe about 3 years ago. And it was about a year and a half or so of, well, it felt like total darkness. I felt like I had really felt isolated and lost. But I guess it's almost a very difficult sensation to describe because it just feels like darkness, right? And you're trying to find the light. You're trying to find hope again. And I want to say that this feels different from, for example, depression, because as I was thinking about this podcast, I was asking myself, what's the difference between depression and dark night of the soul? And I feel like depression is this depletion of your energy. There's no more movement, there's no inquiry, there's no questioning. It's just darkness. And the dark night of the soul feels similar, but there is a questioning. And you can feel this transition, this transformation happening within you. And these two things can happen at the same time, depression and dark night of the soul. But what I'm going to focus on is the dark night of the soul. So a few days ago, I had this experience where it reminded me of that time of my life 3 years ago where I went through so many changes, so many relationship changes, dropping people, dropping identity of myself, really questioning who I was and almost like what was the point. And I came out of that time of my life 3 years ago, a new person with new hobbies, new interests, revitalized. And then a few days ago, I had a very similar experience where I felt like, again, there was no hope, but I was looking for it, right? I was looking for this light. And I realized that with the dark night of the soul, what you're really looking for is yourself. You're looking to see where you are. And I'm not talking about yourself in the form of what makes up your persona, right? Your hobbies, your career, your position, your salary. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that inner light within you. It's like a little flame, but it's always there and it flickers. And sometimes it feels really dim, sometimes it feels really fired up, but there's no identity on the flame. It's just this flicker of essence, of energy. I feel like energy is the most pure way that I can explain that. And I feel like when you're in this dark night of the soul, you're truly looking for yourself. You're looking for this part of you that reminds you of who you are outside of the identities that you've learned from society, programs that you've accepted from yourself and others. But I feel like the dark night of the soul is almost like a crisis of your soul. It's almost like a part of you screaming out to you to be noticed. And I think, at least for myself, what I've experienced is that it activates when you're not living in alignment with yourself. And it could be one aspect of your life, it could be something internal, it could be a thought process, a way that you think, a perspective, a way that you've been living or engaging with others. It could be what you think of yourself, right? I feel like we often overlook how we see ourselves, what we think we're capable of. I feel like we learn things and then we keep them. And then everything we experience in life now goes through that filter. And we think, oh, that's not like me. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I do like this. But those things, those filters have been set in place maybe from a previous version of you that isn't you right now. Maybe those filters did help you keep you safe. At some point in time, they helped guide you, protect you. But I think the dark night of the soul comes up when a part of you needs to die. And I guess I should say trigger warning, but I don't mean it in that you yourself have to die. No, I mean a part of you. And I feel like only you know that answer. And that's why the movement happens. It's almost like the movement, the questioning during the dark night of the soul feels like you're looking for yourself. And it became very apparent to me. Let's wait for this siren to go past. It became very apparent to me a few days ago because I was looking for clues of myself. And I particularly looked at my podcast and I was almost asking myself, not almost, I was asking of myself, like, please help me. Please give me some guidance right now. Debbie, like, tell me what I should do. Tell me what I should think to get through this. Like, help me out, girl. And I realized how important it is to leave yourself clues about who you are, about where your light, where it is. And these light moments, right, are captured in art. For example, journaling. I haven't done it so much recently. I'm working on my handwriting. That's a tangent, but journaling is very important to me. It matters so much because I can process on this piece of paper. I can also unload things. I also have insights that I put down. And when I look back on past dates, I see what that Debbie was thinking. And I remember, oh, right, she's cool as fuck. She has cool thoughts. And I feel like we can often forget who we are. It's almost like we're caught in this current or this wave and it's just kind of washing us around, and we're going with it without questioning because there's no alarm that has been raised, right? Let's wait for that too to go past. I don't know if the mic is going to pick it up. The noise is outside. I think it will, which is why I'm saying, hey, let's wait. But these past few days, I don't know how you feel about it, but I pray. I pray to God for help to show me the light. And I mean, take it or leave it. Some people say higher power, some people say spirit, some people say universe, some people don't believe in that. That's fine. My experience is that I pray. And it helps me because it's almost like I give that, right? I do my best to find my light. I look for clues. I look at journals. I look at podcasts. I look at videos to remember who the fuck I am, all right? To get me through this darkness. And I also pray because that helps me unload my burden. It helps me feel supported and like I'm not alone. Because when the dark night of the soul hits, you feel alone. Even though logically, you might not be. Logically, you might have friends, right? But in that moment, you feel like you don't have friends and no one understands you. Because really, you need to get back to yourself in some way. And I'm not saying don't reach out to people. I did. I reached out to people. I realized I was like, oh, I need community. My dark night of the soul, at least on this end, I think a part of it was that I tend to self isolate, right? I am an introvert. I recharge when I'm by myself. I need a lot of alone time. But I realized that I have community, but I don't lean into them. I don't strengthen those relationships. And so when I was feeling alone, I got flashbacks of me joking with a friend and saying, like, damn, I need more friends. And this is about maybe a year ago. And I think that flashback came almost as a sign of like, no, yeah, you should connect with people more, right? Like actually nurture those because they exist and they're there. And I think that's going to be good for me. You know, we're social creatures. And so, for example, I did start to reach out to more friends. And now I have like more like meetups happening. Like I'm super excited. And I feel like I wouldn't have appreciated those friends or those meetups or gone out of my way to make those appointments, you know, like, hey, we should hang out, we should get a coffee. I wouldn't have gone out of my way to do that if I hadn't hit this crisis point, if I hadn't hit this dark night of the soul, because up until then, I feel like I was kind of trudging along and it was fine. I feel like I have cultivated a lot of independence in my life. And so I'm fine with that until I'm not, until my soul says, hey, can we have some friends? I feel like you learn from friends. Remember, you like those. You like being around people. So go be around people. And I feel like no one is going to, I'm not going to say that that's the only thing that I learned from the dark night of the soul, but that is what's coming up for me right now. That was actually the main thing. You know, as I was talking to my friend through it, I was like, yeah, I do need more friends. Like, I would like to feel supported. Yeah. I would like to support others. And so I feel like the dark night of the soul comes to teach you something that you need at that point in time, right? So for example, mine was this thing of the independence introvert thing. Like, yeah, cool, it's fine. It's a part of me. But also, can we make space for friendships? Can we make space for community? Can we do that too? So that could feed us? And I feel like I don't really think like that. Like, I don't usually think like, oh, I'm going to go be around people all the time because that's draining. But I feel like at this point, I kind of feel like, no, I do need more of it in my life. And so I feel really good about that. And I don't know, this actually might sound really silly to you, right? You're like, what do you mean? Um, but that's what I mean. It's like the dark night of the soul is very personal. No one is going to understand what you need because only you can give yourself that answer. And I feel like it comes at a time when it's asking for you to change and to let something go. And I guess you can try to numb it, you can try to escape it. But I feel like with the dark night of the soul, you can't outrun it. It's going to always be there and it's going to be waiting for the moment where it can catch you. You know, that's what it felt like for me. I was living my life. Everything was great. And then I started to have all these emotions and I didn't know where they were from. And then all of a sudden it was like the light turned off and I was like, wait, what? What's happening? Why am I crying? You know, like, why am I crying right now? And I didn't even know like why I was crying. And then I thought maybe I'm crying because it's been a while since I last cried. So maybe I just need a good cry, which I think is a real thing, right? You need to like cry just to get emotions out. But this felt deeper. This felt like a sudden drop. And then I came out of that, I want to say like touch, that brushing with this on the surface of the dark night of the soul. I came out of that with new insight about myself and feeling more fortitude in my inner being. And honestly, it sucks when you're in it. It's terrible. It feels shitty as shit. But I would suggest that if it's in your practice to pray, to add that, and to inquire within yourself, what is it that I need? And let's say you don't want to talk about it with somebody, right? I would say maybe record an audio to talk with yourself, to let out all your feelings and emotions. And maybe something will come from that. Maybe a clue will come from that. Maybe an insight, a memory will come from that. And you'll get to catch that and say, right, wait, I want that in my life. Or wait, this doesn't work anymore. But I feel like the dark night of the soul comes up when you're in a crisis point and you need to change something. First of all, you need to pay attention. And then you need to change something or move towards changing something or being open to it. I feel like sometimes just having your attention on it, the awareness of wanting, you know, paying attention. Like, let's say it's happening, dark night of the soul is happening. Pay attention, have the awareness. That alone, in and of itself, is going to give you so much information because you're telling yourself, hey, I'm worthwhile. I am worth to be paid attention to, right? You need to pay attention to yourself because you'll be able to see yourself in ways that nobody else can, in ways that you can mirror back to yourself what you need. And when those points happen, I think it's because you have something to say to yourself, or that inner light within you has something to say about something that needs to change. And I feel like paying attention to that gives you answers as well. I'm going to start doing this more intentionally, leaving clues for yourself, right? Getting, for example, for me, getting back into journaling, maybe having more audios, maybe some personal videos for myself, leaving clues. So if I ever feel like I've lost myself or gone out of touch with myself, I can get back to myself through my works, right? Through my original works that are for me, right? And I feel like it's so important to leave clues to yourself about who you are because when that point comes, it's what you're going to need. You're going to need yourself and community. I also feel like each dark night of the soul is different. For the one that I went through 3 years ago, I do remember that being a point in my time in my life where it was just very internal. I felt the image was just like that I was in this cave and a lot of internal work was happening. A lot of transformation, a lot of blocks being moved, a lot of things being shifted. It didn't feel like an external like engagement. That was a very internal transformative time for me. Well, this one felt more like, oh, okay. This one is about reaching out to people. This one is about communicating. This was okay. So each dark night of the soul is going to be different in intensity, in length, in what you want to do during that time, whether it be isolate, look within, or connect with others, or a mix of both. But I would say get curious about it and be open about the changes that your soul is asking to happen. And I feel like you don't really know what's going to, I feel like we get clues. We get clues on who we're going to become. But when you get that crisis point, you don't really know who you're going to become, right? That's why you're in a crisis too. And I think it's just about being open and staying with it, trudging through, questioning, looking for clues, looking within yourself, looking with others, I guess the silver lining during the dark night of the soul is that it's going to end. When you're in it, it doesn't feel like the dark night of the soul is going to end, but it will. You don't know when. Yes. Okay, cool. That sucks. It'd be nice to know. But I do think you can help yourself along to get out of it by paying attention to it and seeing what you need, how you can tend to yourself best to get through the process, which is going to be unique to you because you're a unique individual. And also because each one of those soul crisis sessions are also unique themselves. I feel like I was going to say something. Pause. Let me think for a moment. Yeah, I guess just be curious about who you're going to become. Know that it's going to end. I feel like that's the biggest thing because when you're in it, you don't think it's going to end. And I'm going to say that again because that's what it felt like for me when I was in it 3 years ago and a few days ago. I was like, this sucks. So when is it going to end? Just know it's going to end. This dark feeling that you're feeling right now, that you might be in the future, it's going to end. It's going to end. Change will happen. Just stick it through. And a silver lining is you're going to become more authentic to yourself. You're going to become more of yourself once you get through the dark night of the soul. How great is that? That's amazing. That's an awesome thing. Some part of you that's no longer needed or that wasn't true to you is going to shed. It's going to make room for this truer version of yourself, this more authentic version of yourself. And that'll come in, that'll change everything for you. And you're going to be more you after it. Dark Night of the Soul is just this transformative phase and it sucks. I think it sucks. I don't have a great time doing it. It's just a transformation phase where you're almost like the butterfly in the cocoon. You're kind of falling apart and it's mushy and you don't know what's going on and it's dark. But then you come out a beautiful butterfly. You come out a new updated version of yourself, Debbie 2.0, Debbie 2.3. Like you transform into more you, into the latest version of yourself with all the life you lived, all the insights you've had, all the connections, everything you've experienced is changing you all the time. The dark night of the soul comes up almost as an update. Like, all right, cool, bet. We've got to get rid of some things. You don't really know what they are during it. You just kind of feel lost. You just have to question and look for the light and look for yourself and look for hope. Look for the light. That's what looking for the light is what kept coming up for me. I remember texting my friend and being like, I feel like the light is gone and I'm looking for the light. And don't let go of that. Don't let go of that looking for the light thing. Don't let go of it. It's everything. It'll pull you through. I think that's all I have to say for now about the dark night of the soul. I hope this was helpful to you in some way. And that maybe if you've experienced it or you are experiencing it, you don't feel alone. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like most people go through it. I go through it. I think I will in the future too. I don't think it's going to stop, you know? So see it as a transformation phase that will eventually pass, and you'll get to explore what your new updates are, your new perspectives, your new insights, your new version of yourself, the way you move through the world. But that's exciting. So thank you for being here, for tuning into this episode, and I will see you next time. Bye.